Please welcome to the stage the Honorable Sylvester Turner, Mayor, City of Houston.
Thank you. Thank you all so very, very much. And let me say to Cindy and Frazier, with Shell, Houston First, David, and Michael, and all of those who are affiliated with Houston First, let me thank you all for an incredible, luncheon already and all the work leading up to it. Please give it up to Cindy, Shell, and Houston First. I want to thank my pastor and First Lady, Pastor Ralph D. West and Sharita West, for honoring me and for being here and for their support and the church over the last, well, really, for me, 35 years at the church, and for them being here this morning. I know they drove in this morning from Waco, Baylor, to be here, so please give it up to my pastor, Ralph D. West and Sharita West. My daughter is also here, and Ashley Paige Turner, as she would say, my only child. So I really appreciate her, love her dearly. This is going to be a few thank yous. This is my, since it's, they say my last. So let me thank my executive team and staff, Marvelette, Andy, all of my directors, and for being with me. Many have been with me for the entire 8 years. Most have been with me from 6 to 8 years. But whether you've been with me for 2 years or 8, I certainly want to thank my entire executive team. And I want to thank the people in this city, the 2.3 million Houstonians, for being very supportive, not just of me, but of their city. Over the last 8 years, without the people themselves, we would not be where we are. So regardless of your political persuasion, regardless of your orientation, however diverse you may be, your faith, regardless of where you live, this has been proven to be one great city. So to the people of the city of Houston, thank you for an incredible ride. Now to the 22,000 city employees. Let me tell you, I couldn't do it without 22,000 of them. And oftentimes, they get a lot of criticism. I tell people you can easily find some low-hanging fruit at the city of Houston. If you need to do a story, you can come to the city of Houston on any day, and you can find some low-hanging fruit. But 22,000 employees, through the storms, through COVID, through social civil unrest, through Winter Storm Uri, through extreme heat, these employees show up, and they really represent the city well. And today, in my final deal, I want to give some special recognition to some of them who represent those 22,000 employees. The people standing before you were nominated by their department directors for their exemplary work, but representative of all of the employees in their respective departments. And so today, if you will help me at the end, Nicole Brooks from Housing and Community Development, Yanette Calderon from the Office of Chief Resilience and Sustainability, Linda Callis from ARA Payroll, Grace Chavez, the Mayor's Office of Cultural Affairs, Michelle Duval from the Mayor's Office of Communications, Gabriella Finney from HTV, Jamie Flores from the Municipal Courts, Alejandra Garcia, Planning and Development, Ophelia Gomez from the Houston Public Library, Vanessa Graham Morgan from the Mayor's Office, Kayleen Henderson from the Health Department, Scott Kenyon from the Mayor's Office of Special Events, Troy Lemon, City Secretary, Andy Matea from the Mayor's Office of Government Affairs, Jessica McGowan from the Mayor's Office of Education, Levi McGuire from Finance, Tom Munoz from the Office of Emergency Management, Jessica Ingo from the Mayor's Office of Trade and International Affairs, Richard Nicholson from HITS, Colleen Petty from Legal, Chaplain Richard Ponce from the Houston Fire Department, Lester Powell from Solid Waste Management, Liliana Rombo from the Houston Airport System, Petro Salinas from the Houston Parks and Recreation Department, John Serrano from the Mayor's Office with People with Disabilities, Herbert Sims from the Department of Neighborhoods, Roman Vallis from the Emergency Medical Services, Kevin Warren from Houston Police Department, Timothy Warren from the Office of Business Opportunity, Darius Washington from the Mayor's Office of Complete Communities, Vincent Wells from Houston Public Works, Courtney Wilkerson from the Houston Emergency Center, Roderick Wilfong from GHD, Corey Warden from Human Resources, and Lisa Young from Fleet Management Department. Please give it up if you would join me in applauding these outstanding city employees. Thank you all so very, very much. And I will tell you that what we have accomplished over the 8 years, we have accomplished together. If you take these employees out, nothing gets done. And you can't be a mayor if you don't have dedicated workers and people on the staff making it happen, so I want to thank you. Together we have faced many storms, as you have heard, and you know, 7 federally declared disasters in 8 years. From floods or freeze, from a Super Bowl or the pandemic, we rose up and we met the challenges of our times. From inequities in neighborhood investments to billions of dollars in unfunded pension liabilities, from one safe Houston to one clean Houston, we confronted each issue head on and we set the city on firmer footing. From the tax day floods, Harvey and Tropical Storm Imelda, we launched Resilient Houston, the Climate Action Plan. We focused on energy transition and leaving the next generation better aware and better prepared for the future. From being a national leader on reducing homelessness to providing summer jobs to 20,000 of our kids just this year alone, to being named the first child-friendly city in the United States, we can take pride as Houstonians that we are the envy of so many cities across the country. We are the energy capital of the world, but yet we purchase more renewable energy than any other city in the United States. We beat out New York, LA, Philadelphia, you name it. We lead the country in renewables. We are diverse, but at the same time, we work every day to be inclusive. We are greener, more compassionate, more united, and more forward-moving than we can ever imagine. And I've not done it alone. Over the last 8 years, I've had some incredible partners on City Council. We have not always voted together, but most time we have. And every now and then, we have a few council members who just want to keep me from having a perfect record, so they may voice a little opposition along the way. But in their hearts, I know they wanted to vote with me. I just know they did. If you are a council member now, or you've been a council member the last 8 years, will all of the council members in this room please stand up? All of my council members stand up. We are an incredible group, and let me tell you, I could not have enjoyed working with them more. And then lastly, This administration has laid the groundwork for the city of Houston's future. It's not just about what we have done, but it's about the things that we have done that will unfold in the future. Because if you simply measure about what we have done, that means when the term ends, then the work we have done will have come to an end. But it's the things that we have done that will unfold in years to come. Earlier this year, we held the official groundbreaking of the Inwood Forest Stormwater Detention Basin Project, constructing 12 individual basins, providing 1,200 acre-feet of mitigating stormwater storage. The Inwood project will provide flood damage reduction to over 4,400 structures in the White Oak Bayou and Bogle Creek watersheds, with the estimated completion date in May of 26. In August of 2017, Hurricane Harvey damaged the municipal court building. Initially, FEMA identified total damages of $7 million. The City of Houston administration requested another review. And just last week, FEMA has preliminarily agreed to a payment of $54.2 million, which when combined with what we have already set aside, will finance a totally new municipal court building. Yesterday, we cut the ribbon on the solid waste Northeast Transfer Station. It will be built in March of 2025. The North Canal Stormwater Project is currently in design. The Lake Livingston Flood Water Gates in Kingwood is currently in design. The I-45 expansion project is moving forward. The Sunnyside Solar Farm, which will be the largest urban solar farm in the country, will be operational in 2024. The $250 million Ismaili Center, the 7th in the world, will be completed next year. Metro is moving forward on 3 BRT corridors right now. Will be completed very soon. The University Corridor for Metro, the longest in the nation, is already in the president's budget of $150 million. That's the seed funding, with more to come. And even though I would have loved the high-speed bullet train to already been moving, at least we have the federal representative here today to acknowledge that it is still alive. Thanks to a bill passed during this year's Texas legislative session, Houston will get nearly $2 billion in the coming years to transform the convention center itself and the surrounding district, a project that will catalyze further development in that part of downtown. The renderings that you are seeing now are really just conceptual drawings of what this part of our city could look like in the years to come. Houston First will work with neighboring stakeholders, convention clients, and others to develop a detailed plan and a timeline for the project that will be phased and take several years to complete. But make no mistake, this transformative, once-in-a-generation project will not only create a new destination for locals and visitors, it will also work in tandem with the vision for the North Houston Highway Improvement Project, reconnecting downtown with the EDU and the East End, and the billions of dollars of investment happening in that part of the city. The reimagined convention center and district will integrate with its surroundings on both sides of the new I-45 corridor, helping to restitch neighborhoods and facilitate growth for the next 50 years. I'm proud that we have been able to begin this important effort that will keep us competitive as a destination and, more importantly, leave a lasting impact for Houstonians. I see this as a keystone to other developments that are just beginning to take shape around the center of the city, from Buffalo Bayou Partnership's master plan for the downtown section of the Bayou and Midway 150-acre East River project to the emerging Ion District in Midtown and the rapidly rising 37-acre TMC Helix Parks. These are all transformative projects that have the capacity to make our city better and to enrich the lives of Houstonians. this may be my final, will be my final state of the city. But let me just be clear. I am not anxious to leave. And if I could run again, I would. But a word of advice for those who seek to follow me. Be careful of what you promise. Be careful on how you criticize, because you haven't looked under the hood. But what I can say to the next mayor is, when I inherited a city of $160 million in the hole and an unfunded liability of $8.2 billion, I will hand to whoever the next mayor will be, instead of $160 million in a hole, we'll give you a surplus of nearly $420 million. Instead of an unfunded liability of $8.2 billion, we'll give you a pension system where the unfunded liability is less than $2.2 billion. We'll give you a city that is still united, even though how diverse it may be. We'll give you a city that's more united. And we'll give you a city that if you go anywhere around the world, Houston is now talked about in the top 5, certainly within the top 10. And wherever city you go to in the United States, Houston is in that discussion. We're not at the back end, we're on the front end. And what I can say to Houstonians, I have given you my best. And I am proud, I am very proud of the city that I shall pass forward. Thank you so very much for allowing me to be your mayor.
Mayor Turner, another round of applause for your mayor, Sylvester Turner. I feel like I need to fan you. You took us to church as you took that look back. And first of all, thank you.
Thank you.
I feel like we need to have some birthday cake and coffee up here for this conversation. It's one of those days. So we've talked a lot about this day, and thank you. First of all, it's my honor and pleasure.
Thanks, Belinda. Thanks for
participate in this conversation, and it will be a conversation. It's going to be upbeat. So I have to tell you, Mayor, because I know you're just coming down, right? So I'm going to give you a few seconds. As I walked in and I saw so many key members of your team, I saw Marsha in particular, I saw Janice Weaver, I saw Chief Finner, and everyone's like watery-eyed. I'm like, happy tears today, everyone. Happy tears. This is not an occasion to be sad.
True.
This is an occasion to celebrate. But then Chief Finner said he wasn't too sure, and I might have to hand him a tissue, so I just wanted to know how he was going to handle today. So I noticed the importance of acknowledging your team. I watched your Chief of Staff, Marvelette, shake every single person's hand before their name was called out today. Let's start with that. You talk a lot about collaboration. Let's talk about the power of teamwork and how you put your team together.
Now, one is each one of them is highly capable.
Yes.
You can put a team representative so and so and so and so, but they need to know what they're doing, and they need to know their jobs. When you have a city of 23 departments and 22,000 employees, you know, I don't care who you are as the mayor. You're not going to be in every one of those departments 7 days a week. You're not going to know all 22,000, so you need to have capable, dedicated directors, and you need to have capable people up and down in those departments. And the people that you saw today represented the best of the best. And they are the ones through the storms. They've kept this city going. Through COVID, they kept this city moving. Through difficult, tough, challenging times. They take pride in what they do. And I couldn't do my job without many of the city, well, without all of the city employees that are in this room and those that are not in this room. And I appreciate them, and I want to thank them. So this State of the City is for them, even more so than it is for me.
I feel like they deserve another round of applause. So this book, that's a gift for everyone.
Oh, who is that guy?
He looks pretty good.
Yeah, he does.
You know, I thought, Mayor Turner, about presidents of the United States, how they gray over the years. Well, you've maintained the same look, the same haircut for the most part. A few changes here and there that we look back at the 8 years.
Just a few.
Just a few. So this talks about the power of vision, collaboration, resilience, and transformation. Let's talk about resilience for a minute, because it's obviously an important characteristic for a leader and for your entire team and for a city. Tell me what resilience means to you as you take a look back.
Well, basically, I don't care how prepared you may be or you seek to be, an organization is going to experience shocks and stresses. Individuals are going to experience shocks and stresses. And many of those shocks and stresses are things you didn't plan for. And so you have to build an organization, in this case a city, that can, as much as possible, withstand those shocks and stresses and be able to bounce back when they come. Let's use Hurricane Harvey. A lot of rain, but unless you put systems in place and people in place, when those type of events come, your city still you have to weather the storm, and then you have to come out of the storm, and then you have to be stronger after the fact than before. So you build forward, you don't build backwards. If you build backwards, you build back for failure. So you have to build forward. And that's why we came forth with the Resilient Houston Plan in 2020 and the Climate Action Plan on Earth Day of 2020. And in all of the departments, we kind of assess, what we learned from that previous event, and then how can we better prepare for the next one. And if nothing else, you simply have to have the right people and the right systems in place such that when things come, and they will come, you have to be able to take it and bounce back from it and go back and move even more so into the future than where you're in the past. And that's organizations. Sometimes it may not be an organization, sometimes it may be personal.
Right.
So I have, my own personal event. And so even when the situation came my way, the cancer, for example, the question is, how do you deal with your situation? And at the same time, continue to deal with your responsibilities. And you find a way to weather the shocks and the stresses, and you keep going forward.
I'm really interested in your routine as such a great leader, because you have to motivate your teams, you have to motivate yourself, and you have to keep going. Do you want to give us some insight? You keep a very busy schedule. Tell us about your routine as mayor. Did it change from your life before you became mayor of the city of Houston, and what you'd like to maybe get rid of in the next year?
I think for people who are busy, and everybody in this room busy, I think most of us in this room have always juggled 3 and 4 to 5, 6, 7 things at the same time. If you want things done, oftentimes you go to busy people to get them done, because they know how to manage their time, and they know how to compartmentalize, and they know how to juggle. Okay, you don't give a lot of people. You don't give people much who can't do much. You kind of have to know what people can do. So don't overload people that can't do it, because it won't get done, and then you'll get frustrated, and it will aggravate you, and so you don't want to do that.
You don't get aggravated.
No, I don't get aggravated, and my city council members know I don't. I'm not an emotional person. I was just talking to my pastor over there. I told him, Pastor, I said a few words the other day. I asked the Lord to forgive me. They came out before I realized it. I mean, y'all know I'm from Acres Home. The fofo, Frazier said 4 of 4. Let me tell Frazier, it's fofo, okay? So every now and then, even under the best of times, but a martyr who sits next to me, just like at city council today, she told me, she said, don't go there, Mayor, hold it. So you have to have people close to you who kind of know you. But I think number one, if you're going to be a leader, you got to lead. And you got to be out front. If you want people to have good, solid work ethic, then you've got to demonstrate that. I try to, and you can't lead the city just from City Hall. Okay?
Which explains your schedule.
Right. I mean, when you have the most diverse city in the United States, people want to see you in their neighborhood. People want to see you at their events. And sometimes people want you at their table. You can't tell people all the time, well, if you want to see me, come to City Hall. That's not the way to lead the fourth largest city. So you have to embrace that diversity, and people have to feel as though you are embracing that diversity. And relationships matter. Okay? Now, my term is going to end on December the 31st, but my relationships will continue. Friendship doesn't end. Friendship is not term limited. Okay? If that's the case, then yeah, it really is a rough ride. But what I have learned is that relationships matter. And people will go out of their way if they feel as though they have a relationship with you. And you have to work at it. If in the most diverse city, you have to work at it. And if you don't work at it, then you're going to inherit a city that's highly diverse, but certainly is on the brink of being separate, segregated, and apart. And if that happens, then you really have a major problem. So, all of those things, with my staff, the staff is diverse. And it's a diversity of opinions. Around my executive table, you will hear many opinions. And people have opinions. And I have nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. I think that's a good thing. But I also know that when I called the play, after I heard you out, and I called the play, let's run the play.
That's it.
You can't have 3 quarterbacks and then everybody throwing the ball down the field. Give me your opinions. I want to hear you. But at the end, if people expect me to call the play, and then collectively, we have to run it. But collaboration is part, and we saw that when we dealt with Chapter 42 today on livable places. And I tell you, 6 weeks ago, people were all over the place. But today, City Council, you had City Council members, you had the Greater Houston Builders, you had the Houston Area Realtors, you had some of the stakeholder groups, all came together. And quite frankly, it was not acrimonious at all. And I think that's when the city of Houston is operating at its best.
Excellent. You talked about relationships, and I'm watching our time because you are the quarterback, and you said, Melinda, make sure everyone is out of here by 1:30.
That's correct.
We're going to do that.
That's correct.
I will, is it run the play or follow the play?
Well, no, you're running the play. I'm following you.
Okay. Thank you for that direction. So let's talk about your relationship with the business community and how essential that was to your success over the past 8 years.
Well, I would tell you, the business community was very instrumental on the pension reform. City Council came on board, the unions. I want to thank the union groups for coming on board. Then City Council came on board. The business community came on board. They were very instrumental in Austin in getting the legislators to come on board, so they've been critical. On most of our trade and investment missions, they've been done in collaboration with the business community, the Greater Houston Partnership and others. They've been very instrumental. With respect to what we're doing, for example, in complete communities, that's being done highly in collaboration with the business community. The Sunnyside Solar Forum, for example, that's been done in collaboration with the energy sector. What we're doing at the Bethune Empowerment Center in Acres Home, same thing. The Bezos Academies that we are setting up in several places throughout the city of Houston where parents are not having to pay. Yes. That's been done in collaboration with the business community. So the relationship has been very good with the business community. And quite frankly, you know, you can't run the city without having good ties with the business community. Many of the people in this room, the energy sector, for example, has been phenomenal. And that's why even when I was chair of the United States Climate Mayors, I refused to demonize our energy community because the city of Houston was based on the energy community. We wouldn't have the medical center without the energy community, or NASA and so many other elements. So why would I demonize someone that has helped to make this the great city that it is? But can we work together to address climate change and all of these storms? Energy transition is being done in collaboration with the business community. So, you know, the medical center, tremendous partners. You've got a number of your telecommunications companies that are here today supporting this event. So over the last 8 years, it's been great. Centerport, for example, is hosting so many others. Now, that is not to say that we agree all the time, but you can disagree and yet have a very supportive relationship. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a good thing. The question is, do you disagree and go to your corners and you just fight? Well, that doesn't win. I think it's important to try to find ways where we can create winners and not winners and losers. And I think over the last 8 years, we've been able to work very effectively together, and the people in the city of Houston have benefited from the relationship.
Absolutely. I did want to ask you, you mentioned the next mayor of the city of Houston. I'm curious, because this is a very personal conversation between us. We've gone over all of your accomplishments in the video and in your speech, but what is the note that you will leave on the chair for the next mayor of the great city of Houston? Will you leave one?
I'm still formulating those thoughts. Look, I listened to one of them debates the other night. I clicked the channel. Look, let me just, what I would say, and you know, when you're in campaigns, you just say, you know, you say certain things and, you know, you're trying to win votes, so you
probably shouldn't watch right now.
Well, you know, I can't help myself. I eventually clicked the channel back. But, you know, what I will prepare, I am going to write a note. And one of the things that I'm going to say is enjoy it. Another thing that I'm going to say, it's nothing wrong when you get here, that you recognize what you said in getting here doesn't match up to what you find when you get here. There's nothing wrong with making a U-turn. Okay? And then what I will say is that every community is important. Every person needs to be respected. And a positive attitude will go a long way.
Good advice.
So.
Good advice. Last two questions for you. You are also a father, and you've had a personal life. You are not just a mayor, you're a father, you're a girl dad mayor of the city of Houston, right? And we know Ashley's here today, and that, I think, brought an additional layer to how you did your job. It appeared that way to me. Tell us about how important it was for you to have your family be a part of it.
Well, it was my daughter who said when I was running in 2015, Dad, don't build a city for people your age and older. Initially, I didn't know how to take that, you know, because, you know, I was her daddy, so I just kind of smiled. And then she said, but build a city for people my age and younger. And I took that to heart. It is important that you build a city not for just today or yesterday. Yesterday is gone. And if you try to build a city on yesterday's model, you have already failed. And by the end of today will be gone. And so you have to be futuristic in your thinking. One of the things that I did, and I'm proud of it, the person over boards and commissions, I've had 3 chairpersons. Not one of them has been older than 40 years old. Not one. And what I said to my chairperson, I'm putting you in this position, your boards and commissions. If you don't put people or bring people to me who are your age and younger, then that's your fault. Because I'm putting you in charge. So take a look at all of these boards and commissions and see who's been there for a long time. Or see if there's not enough diversity on these. And then bring me people that will be reflective of where this city is going. So I think it's very important to build a city that's futuristic in nature. Because you can't capture yesterday. And quite frankly, you know, people are coming from all over the world, and there are things that they are looking for. And you know what my daughter said is, Dad, the city still needs a little sizzle and some pop to it. Well, I agree with that. Okay, so I think that's critically important. That you have to project this city into the future, and as this poet once said, children are messages that we send into the future to a world we ourselves may never see. What sort of message shall we send them? And it is very important that whatever we do, that we build the city for a tomorrow that has yet to come. And then I think we'll be prepared for what comes down the road.
Well, speaking of what's yet to come, you know I have to ask. Seems like you have a lot more work left to do and a lot more energy to use. What is next for you, Sylvester Turner?
You know, the more I think about it, you know, I don't know why I should leave. I should just stick around.
Wouldn't that have to push you out?
Wouldn't that be a story? But in terms of the future for me, quite frankly, that is in God's hands.